Lillard gets it. Lillard from the corner for three. Won't go. And that'll do it. The Warriors do it again. Another comeback as they defeat the Blazers here in overtime and advance to their 5th consecutive NBA Finals.
Stephen Curry, kind enough to join us now from Portland after wrapping up the sweep of the Blazers. And as you know, Scott Van Pelt in this space likes to say he's not tired yet. Legler couldn't believe how many times you crossed the court in the fourth quarter in that one sequence before scoring the basket. You played every minute in the second half. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great, man. It's kind of one of those games where you just got to find a way to get it done, and everybody stepped up. We had a lot of injuries, but the opportunity in front of us to, win tonight, advance our 5th finals in a row, and just celebrate as a team. Hard-fought victory, man. Portland played amazing tonight, gave us everything we asked for, and obviously celebrating the win is big.
You mentioned the depth in the entire team. People are going to ask you for comparisons of the 5 teams going to the NBA Finals. Is that the biggest difference? Steve Kerr using 7 different starting lineups. Is this the most depth you guys have had in this run?
It's kind of funny because early in the playoffs, people were talking about how slim our bench was because our top guys were playing so well and playing heavy minutes. And then the entire, narrative changes in this series where, obviously with KD out, DeMarcus out, now Andre out, you got to have guys step up. But we set the culture from the beginning of the season and at the beginning of this entire run that, everybody on the team, everybody that has a jersey on is going to help us win, whether it's a regular season game, a playoff game, or to clinch a Western Conference Finals. And, talking about that and actually believing it makes a series like this possible where everybody stays confident. Doesn't matter how many minutes you play, you step foot on the floor, you help us win. And tonight was a perfect example of that.
It's hard for coaches of championship teams to win Coach of the Year awards because everybody thinks, hey, you got the best players, you're supposed to win. We give it to somebody else. Tell me why Steve Kerr is so good, especially this year with the injuries, with the depth, with the tinkering of the lineup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be okay with that trade-off. Going for the big trophy versus Coach of the Year. But the entire staff, they're very collaborative in terms of everybody having input, but at the end of the day, he makes the decisions and we roll with it. So sometimes we don't like him, sometimes we do. It's just part of the game. But at the end of the day, there's trust, and there's no coincidence why the culture we have here allows us to have the success that we do.
So what's the deal with getting behind by 15 every single game? Is that necessary part of your game? Does that drive you guys? Couldn't you play ahead the whole game?
We talk about we don't want to be in that situation, but there's talented teams all throughout this league, and Portland came out swinging tonight, just like they did game 2 and 3. And our first quarter tonight gave us an opportunity to withstand a couple of those blows, and then Myers Leonard had the night of his life. Dame and CJ got loose, a little bit, and they made plays. But at the end of the day, we know 48, 53 minutes, whatever it takes. There's still time for us to leave our imprint on the game. We never lose our composure or panic at all. It's just, got to buckle down and play the full game.
Hey, we'll let you get out of here after this one. Share the best exchange you had with Seth, either during the series or maybe after it.
His game 2 jinx on my free throw streak finally came and bit me tonight. He didn't say nothing tonight, but as soon as I missed it in the fourth quarter, I looked at him. It was just 2 games later. But we exchanged jerseys and our families are here. It's just unbelievable. And at the end of the game tonight, just getting to hug him and obviously congratulate him on a great series, but something that we'll remember for a long time. So I kept the jersey and be on my wall somewhere.
He was the one screaming about your travel late in that regulation. You know that, right?
He's been tattletaling on me since birth. So it's all good.
Thanks, Steph. We'll see you in the NBA Finals, pal.
Thank you.
Stephen Curry.
Yeah, breaking all kinds of records. He was, Lee. He's really, NHL has the right. They should have and the NBA should borrow it. Have a playoff MVP, because right now Curry is the Conn Smythe within the NBA, breaking records. First record was average for points per game in a 4-game sweep. Shaq had it at 36.3. It stood for 17 years, but Durant goes down. Steph has the ball more, shooting more, 25 times tonight. He scored 35 plus in each of the 4 games, 37 tonight. So his average eclipses Shaq by a tiny bit, 36.5. Other records he broke. 3-pointers made in a 4-game series held by him. Here he is against Cleveland last summer. Made 22 threes in that series as the Warriors won the title. But he broke that own record in this Western Conference final. Hit 26 threes, 4 more than against the Cavs. 42% from deep. He was 7 of 16 tonight in the clinching game 4, 8 of 9 from the line. He talked about his 1 miss. And playoff career high. Beyond setting records, Curry's best scoring series was this one. Back against the Pelicans, 2015, he averaged 33.8. That was the most he had in a series until this year in the Western Conference Final. 36 points in game 1 and 3, 37 in 2 and 4 for an average of 36.5. The Warriors sweep. He played 47 minutes tonight. Did not commit a foul, which is unbelievable. Triple-double for he and Draymond. That never happened before. NBA history. 2 teammates both getting a triple-double in the same.
The app and start your free trial.
First coach NBA history to reach the finals in each of his first 5 seasons as a head coach. Steve Kerr.
Fight and scrap. In the end, it's a sweep, but we had to scrap and claw for three of the 4 victories. So this was a lot more difficult than it may have appeared. So we're happy to move on and happy to get a little rest before we have to play again. We'll open it up.
Gareth Burke, NBC Sports Bay Area. And going along with the difficulty, there are going to be people who look at this and see a sweep, think it was easy. What made it so challenging, whether it was the things that the Blazers were throwing at you or the injuries siphoning off your manpower? How did you guys persevere?
Well, our guys they've been at this for a while. So they know how to win. They know how to come back from deficits. And when you get this deep in the playoffs, you're playing against the best teams in the league. And, this backcourt that you're dealing with McCollum and Lillard, it's a nightmare trying to stay in front of them. And you have to commit help. You have to have a 5-man defensive effort. And that leaves you vulnerable in areas. I thought tonight they did their best job of exposing those vulnerabilities. Myers Leonard was fantastic, and they did a really good job of moving the ball. They had 31 assists, and our defense was shaky tonight, but we turned it up in the 4th quarter and in overtime and got it done. But it was an uphill climb the whole way.
Hey, Steve. Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press Democrat. What did you think of the efforts of McKinney and Looney in overtime for you?
Well, I think they've both been fantastic all year. Looney has become one of our foundational pieces. He does this every single night. And I think one thing that we've seen in almost every series is as the game goes on and players get tired, Loon gets more and more rebounds. He just has a knack for the ball. Really long arms, great feel for the game. And so his rebounding, I think he had 14 tonight, bunch of offensive boards. Really a big key for us. And then, without Andre, we needed every ounce of effort from Alfonso. And, we didn't want to extend Sean Livingston's minutes. Played 21, which is already a high number. Up 3-0, going into tonight. So when we went overtime, we just decided let's give Zoe the minutes, and he came through in a big way.
Steve, Nick Friedel, ESPN. In this era, how would you put into context what it means to go to the NBA Finals for the 5th straight season?
I hope it doesn't go unnoticed or underrated. 5 straight finals hasn't been done since the 60s, since Bill Russell's Celtics. Hasn't been done for a reason. It's really, really difficult. And so I just can't say enough about the competitive desire of the group of players that we have here and the culture that they've built together. Playing together regardless of injury. We've had, being without Kevin these last 5 games has put us in a really tough spot, and our guys stepped up in a big way. A couple of years back, we were without Steph for over a 2-year period. I think he missed like 12 playoff games, and we won 9 of them. So the group has a fiber to them where when guys go down, they find a way to come together and compete and win. Starts defensively. If you can defend at a high level in the playoffs, you always have a chance. But I just think the experience of winning titles helps you in these moments, and it helps you continue to move forward and come away with victories like tonight.
Again, Steph Curry averaged 36.5 points per game in this series. That's the most ever by any player in a 4-game sweep. He's never lost to Portland in the playoffs. 10-0. He really is, Leaves. In this run of 5 straight, he's really the hub.
And Curry will be asked, I'm sure, by us or somebody else, how different this team is from the previous 4 to go to the NBA Finals. Maybe the difference is truly an entire team. There's so much depth. Steve Kerr has used 7 different starting lineups in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. Much more on what we're all watching. Here's Chris Connolly.
The defending champion, still best in the West, Golden State is heading to the NBA Finals.
How have the Warriors made it to 5 consecutive NBA Finals? It's more like, how haven't they? They win with KD, they win without KD. They lead from the jump.
It is a Golden State blowout.
They mount a furious comeback.
A thrilling comeback win for Golden State.
They do it with a third-quarter offensive cloudburst.
And the Warriors' third-quarter domination in effect.
They do it with a fourth-quarter defensive lockdown.
Stolen by Iguodala.
Clay does it behind the arc.
He is unconscious.
Draymond does it in the paint.
Blocked by 3.
Steph does it with
Bang! Bang!
rainbow, like the basketball unicorn he is. Face it, the Warriors have more ways to win